I think market's going to be overall bullish or bearish because of the indecision of the rate cut. Mostly because of the rate cut. I would say that the indecision is going to be voted in favor of rate cuts. The votes still heavily lean into aggressive rate cuts, despite Powell's commentary saying, you know, we're kind of on the fence about the December cut. It doesn't mean that they're on the fence about rate cuts. They're just on the fence of, is it December? The progression of rate cuts is to get us all the way down to 3% by next year. Whether it's December or January is kind of like splitting hairs. But I think the Fed is not just shifting their policy all of a sudden. All the members have been voting pretty steadily for the last year in the dot plots. So you haven't really seen a lot of members budging. People have had their plan like years ago and they're kind of sticking through it. Nothing really happened between October and now to change the minds of a lot of people that have been pretty stubborn. I mean, watching the dot plot's been relatively stable, at least on the front of almost everybody thinks we need at least 3 rate cuts of 25 before next year. The debate is, do we need 3 or 5? And I think that's where the variance is. And the aggressiveness of 2025 was going to be 3 rate cuts, like one every, we got 2, but the idea was we'll get 1 more for the end of the year. And the question is, maybe not, maybe it'll get pushed to January, February. So maybe they're staggering them out further, but I still think we get a couple more. Is that bullish or bearish? I think that in general, it's neither. I think Wall Street is looking for bull news, so they're going to perceive that as bullish. In general, rate cuts are not perceived as bearish, but the market's gone down in periods of rate cuts. The market's gone up periods of rate hikes. And between like 1998 and 2000, you know, Greenspan was a rapidly raising rate right before the dot-com collapse, and markets still went up like crazy. So I think right now the greater kind of issues are what people are going to care about. Tariffs, is AI in a bubble, quote unquote, and inflation, right, in the jobs market. I think right now everything looks sort of questionable, but not terrible just yet. I think that once we get through this year, next year is going to be pretty bullish. I feel it. Good question.